This is the sequel to How to Buy Levolor Cellular Blinds, specifically straight from the manufacturer, but if you're watching this, you probably already bought them, so now it's install time. If your window is up to 38 inches wide, you get this orange bag with 2 hanging clips and a pull tab, if you go with the cordless option. If it's 38 to 68 inches wide, you get this green bag with 3 hanging clips and 2 pull tabs, for the cordless option. And here's the chart for that stuff. So your max window width for one headrail is going to be 130 inches or 10.8 feet. And somewhere in early 2023, they stopped including the installation manual and instead include a slip with a QR code to see the manual online, but I will be showing the manual they used to include with it. This is the install for a inside the window frame mount. I talk about this in the other video, but unless you buy or make your own tracks, you will have light leaking on the sides compared to an outside mount, but I want my blinds to fit within my window frame. Tools you may need: a tape measure, pencil, Phillips head screwdriver or bit, or a 1/4-inch nut driver, which skip the Phillips and go right for the driver if you want an easier experience. You're going to need to drill, so if you have a 1/4-inch driver with extension, you can use the drill for the entire process, and that will be even faster and easier. And you will be piloting those holes with an 1/8 inch or smaller drill bit. Okay, so I'm going to be jumping between 2 installs for a 36-inch wide window and a 58-inch wide window, since I already measured, marked, and drilled the left and right brackets on both windows, because I installed some blinds a couple months ago and I needed to hang something in the remaining windows for the winter, so I put cup hooks where I knew the brackets would go, so I wouldn't be drilling unnecessary holes in my brand new window frame. And by the way, these windows are Pella Encompass vinyl, in case you're wondering. Why didn't I buy all my blinds at once? 1, they're expensive, and 2, I wanted to make sure that what I got was what I expected. And for the first round, I expected light blocking, but I got light filtering. So watch my video on how to buy these blinds to find out how that can happen. But since these windows are facing afternoon sun, I really wanted to make sure I got light blocking. So I measured each bracket 2 inches from the left and right of the window frame. And for the depth, I guess it depends on your window, but a minimum mounting depth of 2 1/8 inches is required. So say you have a 3-inch deep window frame. That means that you will be measuring back 2 1/8, or let's do 2.5 just to make it easier. 2.5 inches, and then you have another 1/2 inch left between the bracket and the window. But there's definitely plenty of room. 2 1/8, it'll fit fine, right? Like it's not going to look weird. I don't need to say that. So it's basically saying these brackets are, I could have measured it, but these brackets are probably 2 1/8 inches deep, okay? And so that makes it so your blind, when it mounts on, will be flush in the window frame. Yeah, and you also want to make sure that when you extend the shade down, you want to have some space behind it. So when you extend the shade down, it doesn't hit the handle of your window. So now get one of those brackets, and with the word top facing up and the springy metal tab facing the window, mark the drill holes in these rounded rectangles. So there's some calibration room. Aim for the middle, knowing that you might push them forward or back. Because if these brackets aren't lined up, the blinds won't snap into them. Now take your 1/8 drill and pilot the holes. So after drilling, at first I switched to a Phillips head, but later I switched to a 1/4-inch driver. And had I been thinking and not just trying to get stuff done, I would have added that extension to the drill and just done it all with the drill. But either way, you're getting more torque, and it's easier to use a driver because Phillips head is designed to cam out if you exceed a certain torque, which can result in stripping the screw. But hold those horses and get the brackets to almost tight. That's when you can make sure you have them lined up by looking at the lines you drew, but also looking at the edge of the window frame so you can kind of see, do they line up straight like the edge of the bracket with the line the window frame is going in. So you're doing that for both sides. So repeat process to put on the second or third or however many brackets. If you have 3 brackets, you put one in the middle. Now, after all that, it's time to snap in the blind. This is the back side. If you have light blocking blinds, you can see that it's also a different color on the window facing side. But these are the 70199 Snow Palette, which is a subcategory of white off-white. So you start by hanging the blind on the top lip and then rotate it down while pushing towards the window till you hear a click or multiple clicks, and you can check if it's in there by looking at it with your eyes underneath. Now, inevitably, when you first click it in, it won't be centered. Even if you've purchased it with exact measurements when you're buying it, there's always going to be about an 1/8 inch clearance on either side or total. I can't remember, but I wouldn't count on that being consistent. So don't inflate the size of your window unless you're fine with the extra work required. If you need to widen your window frame, so you can't slide this thing when it's clipped in. So, because you're trying to center it now, right? Remember that? So you do the reverse of how you popped it in and pull back while rotating up, and then kind of slide it while it's still hanging on the top track. And you can go on each side and check, and then keep doing that until you've compensated enough where you got it centered. So now it's in there. Pull down the blind and add that little tab, and that's it. But really, it's not, because what are the chances you're only putting blinds in one window, right? You're nowhere near done. So it'll probably take about 45 minutes to do your first blind if you've never put in blinds before. But if you know all the steps, it should only take 15 minutes or who knows? It's not a race. I'm not your YouTube dad. Don't let me get in your head and mess with your confidence. And just for reference, this is the difference between light filtering and light blocking. And this is how it looks from the outside during the day. And this is what it looks like outside at night. So, you can't see through them. Obviously, light blocking, I would hope, but, whatever was it called, light filtering, you could barely see silhouettes. And just for added trivia, the light blocking blinds hang about 20% longer when in the up position because they're thicker, I would assume. So as a result, it could block some of your window glass a little more. But that's it for installing. Wait a minute. Hey Google, how do you pronounce Levolor?
Levolor.
Levolor? Can you say that slower?
Levolor.
Okay. That's it for installing Levolor cellular blinds.